Hey, how's it going, everybody? Coming at you today with a little bit of news on Devil May Cry 5. Now, word came out today that apparently it's going to have microtransactions, and these are going to be the normal microtransactions that we've been seeing pop up more recently in single-player games. The choice microtransactions, as they like to describe them. Basically the whole point of them is just to let you skip the progress. Don't have to put in the work. Just get to run through the game and unlock everything you want right away, and you just pay for it. And that's what we can expect to see in Devil May Cry 5. Now, starting off here, just want to make it perfectly clear, I am a huge Devil May Cry fan. Love the games, been waiting on them to actually go back to the original continuum for a while now and pick up from there and, keep it going, because those were the good ones. I played the DMC, the reboot, I didn't hate the combat. It had certain fun things that you come to expect from a DMC game, but the aesthetic and just the story and the characters, it wasn't for me. But the originals are some of my favorite games. In fact, I might be one of the, not one of many, but one of the people out there who, in my opinion, I prefer Devil May Cry even over, say, the likes of God of War. I love God of War, great games, amazing games, they're great experiences, but I've always just had more fun with, Devil May Cry. But anyway, so with the news coming that they are going to have microtransactions in there, and you're going to be able to use those to just unlock the perks or the skill points, basically, or more or less the red orbs. So you're going to be use it to unlock the red orbs that you can use to unlock your abilities. But, that worries me. Just point blank, that definitely worries me about what the game is going to be, because there are people who are defending it or just saying, oh, it's, the typical argument, it's all choice, it's just they're putting in there, if you don't want it, don't use it, and I guess that's an argument you can make, but the thing is it's not simply choice. If anything, it's a lack of choice. They're taking away the choice for me to play and experience Devil May Cry the way I expect it to be experienced. And I say that because we know what happens when developers start taking single-player games and throwing in microtransactions as far as unlocking your abilities and things like that, because we've seen it time and time again. We've seen plenty of other games, both single-player and especially multiplayer, who throw in and try to tie your progression or give you the option to tie your progression to what you're willing to spend on it. And when has it ever worked out? Look at a game like what was that recent, the Lord of the Rings game, the Shadow of War, excuse me, the Shadow of War. That one right there, I was excited for that game. I was looking forward to it because I enjoyed Shadow of Mordor, and I was looking forward to getting back into that one, but then it started coming out that they were going to have the microtransactions, and sure enough, there were mixed examples of it. Some people said that they didn't even notice it or anything like that, but there's always going to be that crowd who just says it doesn't bother them, and to them it's going to be whatever. But the the main kind of narrative that I was seeing out there was people saying, no, it's pretty obvious that once you get to a certain point in the game, especially, if you don't plan on paying this money to unlock these things to keep pushing forward, then you can expect one of the most brutal grinds that you've really ever experienced in a single-player game, because there's so much that you're going to have to do to really get to that. And they even put the full ending behind that. So if you want that ending, if you want that full little end clip that just kind of ends it all up, and that's the end stamp, the end, question mark. If you want that, then you have to get to that point, so you can either grind out for, an extra 10 to 30 plus hours, depending on how grueling they want to make it, or you can just throw them, $20-30, whatever it ends up being, and just unlock it all and then get right to the end there. And the thing is that right there, that's showing that it's not giving other people choices, it's taking away our choices. It's taking away the people who have been playing the game forever, it's taking their choices away, because now you can't just run through it. You can't just play it like you normally would. You're slowed down. You can't put a hindrance on my playtime and then tell me, oh, it's not there. And anybody who, even when the game had come out, when Shadow of War had come out, and the people who were saying, oh, it wasn't a thing, oh, it didn't get slowed down, That was proven wrong. That was proven wrong. Point blank, because when they decided that nobody was buying those microtransactions anymore, like they did over at Warner Brothers, they realized that people who were left playing weren't buying the microtransactions. Everyone who bought the microtransactions bought it, flew through their game really quick, because apparently that's all they wanted to do. They didn't want to enjoy the game and play the game and earn the ending. They just wanted to see it. But everyone who was left were people who were going to grind it out, and they probably weren't enjoying the grind as much. And the people who, everyone else, either didn't care to buy it in the first place, or they were turned off by those microtransactions. So they went back to remove them. What did they have to do? They had to go back in there. They had to rebalance everything. That was a big update for the game, and they made a big deal about it. And they even expected, it seemed like they even expected praise for them fixing their game after everyone else who they could take advantage of how they had made it originally was already all tapped out. And that's not how it should be. It shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't be that you can put the brakes on me and hinder me as much as possible, but then when you decide, okay, well, I've gotten all that I can out of all those who are going to give it, well, now I'm going to loosen those reins a little bit, and you're welcome. You know, and that's not the only example. Look at, Deus Ex Machina, whichever the last one came out. That went free on PS Plus however many months ago, so I grabbed it. I didn't play it at launch because I had heard things, and, you know, quite frankly, when I hear things like that, it turns me off to even the possibility of really trying it. I want to see what I'm hearing after it comes out. And what I heard after it came out wasn't very favorable either. So, anyways, it came out on PS Plus and it was free, so I went ahead and downloaded it. I played it, and I didn't hate the game. The game itself, what was there was fine. It was pretty all right until like the very last sections I wasn't the biggest fan of, but it was pretty clear that there was an effect on how you are unlocking things, because you didn't really unlock much of anything throughout the play session that game. And it's not it's not like a 5-hour, 6-hour run through an adventure game. That one is even more of an action RPG or stealth RPG, or however you want to describe it, or however you want to play it for that matter. But so you expect there to be some kind of steady progress, and there's not. It's clear that where you would normally be at that point in any other game, the brakes were put on it, and you were hindered, you were held back because they wanted to be more appealing for those microtransactions. And I mean, I don't get how anybody could say otherwise. I can't wrap my head around it, because there's really no other reasons for these things to be in there. Remember, there used to be a way for people who wanted a choice, who didn't want it to be so hard to get through, yada, yada, yada. There used to be an option for that. That was a real option. That was called easy mode. It was just go over there when you start any other game. A lot of games still have it now. Spider-Man has it. There's a great example of a game that you can choose exactly what you want, and you can do a lot of things, and the progress feels consistent, and it feels right for where you are at any point, any given time in your playthrough. You know, but that didn't need any microtransactions. And if you wanted it, if it was too hard or anything like that, which I know who would be too hard for, it's a challenge, but it's not, you know, it's not Dark Souls or anything. But if you are somebody who, I don't really want to be bothered with, you know, a big challenge, but I like Spider-Man, so I want to see what the story here is and how it all breaks down, put it on easy mode. That was a choice. This is extortion. This is saying, okay, well, we'll give you this much Devil May Cry, but if you want the Devil May Cry you're used to, where your playtime is rewarded, then you're going to have to pay extra for that. And it's not even your playtime being rewarded. It's just paying, and your playtime is acted like, it's treated more like a chore. It's treated more like something you have to do. It's what you have to do. And hey, and if you have the money, you can pay to get past that. And you know, I've heard some arguments go as far as, hey, the game Devil May Cry hasn't been around for a while. The last one was kind of knocked by fans, well, pretty well knocked by fans, and just wasn't a big hit. I'm not sure how it sold exactly. I played it when I had my hands on it and ignored it more or less after that. But it's been gone for a while. Devil May Cry hasn't been on gamers' minds for a while now. But the thing is in any situation like that, no matter if you're bringing back any kind of franchise, if you bring it back and your efforts go towards, okay, we don't know how well this is going to sell, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to milk those people who do buy it as much as possible. Well, in the end, that's not gonna give you a great game. It's not gonna give you anything to be proud of. In the end, what that's going to do, it's gonna end your franchise. It might make you some money if you're lucky, maybe even enough to make a sequel. But who's gonna buy that sequel? But when you put in that time, instead of trying to milk those that you get, try to look for those wells, as they call them, and try to get all you can out of them. If you instead put all that time into making sure that your game is quality, that your game is worth playing, that you're not going to want to skip this experience. You want to play through it. You want to know that when you get to the end and you get that big end scene, it's because you put in the work. Well, then what you're going to get is players who have been waiting for Devil May Cry 5, or just whatever, any continuation of the Devil May Cry that we all played when we were younger, from PlayStation days, and onwards, and you're gonna, those people are gonna go and buy it, and they're gonna love it, and they're gonna tell everybody else, hey man, don't sleep on Devil May Cry 5, don't miss out on it. It's a great experience. It's fun to play through. It's got a challenge to it. It's even got, just the challenge. The challenge of Devil May Cry has always been one of its big one of the big draws to it is that it's got something for everyone. You can go in there. I've seen people who play Devil May Cry like a straight button masher. I put my son on Devil May Cry, and he can get through it. He'll run through and just smash everybody. My daughter too. But then you also have the little style score. So it's not just about getting through it, but you can do it to where you're getting higher style points. So you're getting more orbs. So you're unlocking more stuff. But they're going to put the brakes on all that. Those style points, it's not going to matter how badass of a combo you pull off. If they decide, he's wrecking them, but if he's that good and he's always playing like that, then he's going to unlock things too fast. So we need to put the brakes on it a little bit more. And people they're not going to suggest that to each other. I have a number of games that I probably never would have thought to try if some friend of mine didn't say, hey man, look, I know this might not normally be your style, but check this game out. It's worth your time. And I'll say, okay, might not get it right away, but maybe a price drop or something like that. Maybe I just happen to have a little extra cash and I say, whatever, let's go for it. And I end up loving it. Now, if his experience had been going in there just dragging himself through a horrible, grindy experience, and then being face-to-face constantly with advertisements to buy and unlock his own skills instead of just playing for him, like he would in any other game that we've all grown up loving over all these years, he's not going to tell anybody about that game. I wouldn't tell anybody about that game. So, honestly, everyone makes their own decisions. People are going to decide whether or not that's a deal breaker for them or not. For me, it's not necessarily a deal breaker. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm just, nope, I will never play Devil May Cry again. I'm outraged. Outrage! No. But pre-ordering is kind of out of the question for me. I would recommend anybody else out there just hold off on that pre-order, because that sends a message. That at least lets them know, okay, people are upset about this. You were worried about the game being a little obscure and that affecting your sales. Well, now what you thought you were doing to fix that, which was really not fixing anything for the game, it was just trying to make sure that you don't lose out on any money. And that's what's costing you money. Now, who knows? Maybe day one it comes out, people go out and see the reviews come up, and hey, this game is great. There's no slowdown to it. Those are just there. This is the one developer who ever did this, and they only put these in here just to be there. They were actually telling the truth. Because I get it, some people love Devil May Cry. I love Devil May Cry. And you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But here's the thing, is that we can't be overall gamers against microtransactions and the way it's affecting a lot of our games, And then, oh, I wouldn't play this. That's all microtransactions. I wouldn't touch that. That's all microtransactions. But then when it touches the games that we love, well, twiddle our thumbs and, whistle as we're heading off to the GameStop or wherever you get your games from. Probably not GameStop. But, I mean, you have to be consistent. I want this game to be great. I want them to make more of them. But this route that they're taking here isn't heading that direction. It's headed towards maybe those super hardcore that I don't care what controversy or what anything else or anything like that that's around the game. I don't care what's going on. I just want to play this game and I love this game and that's all there is to it. Those people, they'll be fine. Some people and if you are, that's cool. If it doesn't bother you in the slightest, then go for it by all means. I mean, not everybody has to get up on the soapbox and try to stand for something. It's not that big of a deal. It's still just a game. But if you want to see better, if you want to let them know, hey, this is not okay, then you have to show them with your wallet. You have to let them know, hey, I'm not going to get this. I mean, I want to go back and play Shadow of War, but I can't bring myself to do it because I know how that game was when it came out. And Devil May Cry 5, this game comes out and it's everything that I want it to be with a slight caveat there, then fine. But if it comes out and it's just, hey, if you don't want to pay that $60 to start the game and then an extra $30 to really enjoy and beat the game, well, then I'm out. But those are my thoughts. Now, if you disagree or if you think of the one game out there where microtransactions were put in there for this kind of purpose and it didn't hurt the game negatively, then leave it in the comments because I'd love to see it. But as of right now, this is what we got. But this has been Just Gamer with my thoughts on the Devil May Cry microtransactions. So again, if you can, leave a like, subscribe for future content, and game on.